So of these 4, there's obvious activity here, like considerable activity here, and these 2. This one, like nothing's happening. Pretty likely maybe dead. These other 3 are great. Great. They starved too. Unfortunately, they're all up. There's a huge cluster right here. I mean, so the population was good until it wasn't, obviously. And I'm guessing they starved. I know that a few of these colonies were light, so I did put a couple of them together, and I combined them because of either population size being too small or I thought they were too light and I needed to give them enough resources to get through. Didn't do a good job with this one. It doesn't look like. Yeah, I mean, so you can see the bees in there. They died literally trying to get food out of there. That's too bad. So I'm guessing I'm going to see that on all these. You can see that the population was pretty good when they died. So that gives you a better idea looking through there. How many bees really were still left. Side note, I'm getting a lot of questions on these hives, these Hoover hives. You can see that the front of this one is taking some beating, and they're max of maybe 3 years old. But I have a lot of them. I kind of went with them. I did go with them because they were cheaper. Okay, this is what I was concerned with, wondering about. This hive does have brood already. There's brood in there. Okay, it's March 2nd. I have some capped brood. Alright, so there you go. So this is the lesson that I learned last year with the swarming. Again, it's March 2nd in southern Minnesota. And in the top box, 2 boxes, this is a medium. I have brood in one of the middle frames here. Okay, so now that I have brood in there, now it becomes a question of when can I start splitting, right? So that's what I'm learning. That's what I learned last year the hard way, is that all the colonies that made it through winter, super excited, and then they all swarmed on me. So March 2nd, I have some capped brood in here already in this top box. So yeah, just in the crazy. I knew how to make sure that I got the shot here, but there are eggs in there. Just a couple of bigger larvae in the middle, you can see that brown semicircle here. This is where she laid some brood last year too. Right in this, right here, there's just a couple bigger larvae, but this, I mean, and then about, from what I can see, about half of this frame, kind of in a, again in a semicircle here, about up to half is all eggs. So for whatever reason, when I have two boxes on like this, a deep and a medium, the queen, if she chooses to lay in the medium, it seems like she only lays a much smaller semicircle than in the deep box. In the deep box, we're used to a really nice big brood pattern and then a small patch of honey up in each one of the corners, or even like a bridge, you know, where it's a thicker bit of honey on this side and then it goes to a thin piece of strip of honey on the top and then thicker in this corner too. That's what we're used to. It seems like it's a lot less laying on a, maybe it's just proportional. Maybe it's just proportional to the size of the frame, and she decides she only wants to lay that far up. Okay, so now this is the third frame from the end. And I am not seeing anything. Which makes sense. As far as keeping the nest warm, right? So 3 frames in, no, yeah, again, they're more active. They're not hot, it's not really a hot hive, but they are definitely more active, more up in my face. So 3 frames in of, you know, insulation, and then frames of, a couple of frames of brood here is what I'm seeing. Look at this colony. Look at this colony overwintered. Super strong. Super strong. Right? Heavy. I was 1 frame off. We got brood, and we got quite a bit of it. Both sides. March 2nd, southern Minnesota. That's pretty cool. Now my question, when can I split these? It's going to have to happen sooner than later. It's holding together as they've built it up. Look at that. See that? Hey, this frame has a staple on it. That's better. We'll get in here. It's starting to get kind of late, so I don't know. I guess right now I'm just looking for brood. Obviously they're alive and well, which is awesome. But what I need to see is how much brood we have. You can see that these guys are a lot more active too now. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm still really learning, but it could potentially be. It's already starting to drop. The temperature's starting to drop. It's not cold. It's probably 60, but it was 64. Sun's going down. The bees know that it's going to cool off tonight a little bit at least. It's not supposed to get into the 30s or anything. It's supposed to. Did I mention that I missed that J-hook of mine? Yeah. Doesn't help if I squish one in the middle of this too. Look at that. Yeah, like look at how much more active these guys are. Yeah, no brood at all on that one. Yeah, I'm getting bumped pretty good here. Pretty good. Again, I don't know that it's terrible, but pretty good. Let me double check how much honey was left in here. Maybe they're low, and again, if they're there you go again. I don't know if you're seeing that. God darn it. This box was pretty light. Jesus, look at me. I'm not making friends today. I'm not making friends. No friends, no friends. No friends. Just want to make sure they got enough resources. I would be pissed if I got in here. They're pretty low. I mean, they have some, but they're pretty low. Here we go. So I stole, robbed from the rich. Got the frame off. Hopefully that makes them happier. He wasn't going to remove it because it was a pain in the butt. Look at this. I wasn't going to remove this broken frame. I wasn't going to mess with it because I didn't want to mess with it. Look, like always happens, I got brood on it. So of course I'm not going to remove it. Yeah, I got a bee climbing on my ankle here. It would be sweet to get that one out of there. Oh no, that one's stinging me already. You little son of a bitch. I wasn't even trying to raise my pant leg to let you out, and you stung me anyway. Big wad of honey on top there. They should be okay. They insist on climbing up my shoes to my ankles. I wonder if they like the color. They are orange. I mean, the pollen that they've been pulling out of that bucket sure is orange. Maybe that's a clue, Steve. To wear something else. It's not that one. I think I've said this on other videos, but I laugh to myself when I hear people comment on a beekeeping video about how gentle the beekeeper was and how they didn't crush any bees. Because I know for a fact that you just didn't see the bees that they did crush. Nobody wants to crush bees, but you got 30 to 50,000 bees all moving around at once. You're gonna crush a couple. They all want to walk in Wrong spot at the same time. I got 4 kids. I don't crush them, but you know, a finger gets pinched every once in a while. And that's 4. Alright, well, I'm going to leave these guys the way they are. So I didn't dig into the small one there, the end one there, or the end one there. But they sure are active. You know, I mean, the only regret would be that I didn't have a chance to give them some sort of supplemental honey or something, supplemental feeding. And then they died on me. I likely the hive that this is all from, I'm pretty confident was active. I mean, I thought they were all active, except for the white one over here that I bought that I knew was a dead out right away. And so the frustrating part about that is that if they ran out of food, which is what they did, then, you know, like I've been out here 2 weeks in a row. I've been out here a number of times and I've seen bees in the entrance, in the upper entrance. They weren't active, and I think the lesson that I'm taking from that is that maybe they were actively dying. I mean, they were out of resources, and they weren't active because they didn't have any energy to do anything, to go find food, to go find this pollen bucket that all the other colonies found. And so it's just frustrating, like, and I didn't go in because I didn't want to chill them. Today was the first day that I went into any colonies, because it's warm today, it's going to be warm tomorrow. I put all the insulation back, like I winterized them again. I put them right back to that position. And I didn't want to do that to any of these colonies earlier, but what I know now is that this one was likely actively dying. Now it may have been too far gone at that point. Maybe I was only seeing a handful of bees, the last ones. But it's just frustrating to know that maybe I could have added something at that time to get them through. And then, of course, I'm probably going to receive comments, which is fine, about, well, you didn't do a candy board, you didn't do the mountain pile of sugar method, whatever the mountain thing is called. And I haven't done that before, and really I didn't do it because of laziness / I didn't have enough time / I thought that they had enough honey and I wanted to do it that way. For as much manipulation that as I'm willing to do with these, that was something that I thought maybe at least over the winter I could get them to get through with just the honey. I have 3 colonies yet that I need to dig into. Hopefully I can get back here tomorrow because it's supposed to be really nice tomorrow. But that's it for now. It's getting dark. Gotta pack it up.